They fought side by side in foreign campaigns, sharing the mud and the glory. But the brotherhood between these two commanders ended here, in the cold soil of an English hillside. Their fallout over a single crown would leave one dead, the other a conqueror, and end the Anglo-Saxon ruling class. The crisis began on January 5, 1066. King Edward the Confessor died childless, leaving the English throne vacant. The very next day, his brother-in-law, Harold Godwinson, was crowned here at Westminster Abbey. This silver currency funded an economy more stable and centralized than almost any other in the 11th century. England possessed a highly organized administrative system, secure borders, and a sophisticated treasury that made the kingdom the most valuable prize in Europe. A wealthy state without a designated successor is a target. Almost immediately, Harold's rapid coronation was contested. Across the English Channel, the Duke of Normandy claimed the throne. In the north, the King of Norway mobilized his fleets. Edward's failure to secure a bloodline removed the one mechanism keeping foreign ambitions at bay. Decades of relative stability disappeared, transforming the island into the epicenter of a multi-front European war. This conflict was a clash between former comrades. Harold Godwinson, the powerful English earl, and William, the Duke of Normandy, had served as allies. 2 years earlier, Harold had been shipwrecked off the French coast. William rescued him, and the two men fought together in a military campaign in Brittany. Harold even saved 2 of William's men from quicksand, cultivating a political alliance built on mutual military respect. According to this section of the Norman tapestry, their alliance was formalized in religion. The Normans claimed that Harold swore a holy oath upon sacred relics, pledging to support William's right to succeed King Edward. When Edward died, Harold took the crown for himself, insisting the dying king had named him successor at the very last moment. From the Norman perspective, this was an unforgivable breach of faith. The broken oath ended any chance of diplomacy. Driven by intense domestic pressure in England and a shattered sense of honor in Normandy, a succession dispute became a bitter, zero-sum blood feud. Harold's grip on his new crown was tested almost immediately, but the first blow came from the north. A massive Norse invasion struck the coast, led by the Norwegian king Harald Hardrada and joined by Harold's own estranged brother, Tostig. The invaders arrived in a fleet of 300 ships. The preserved maritime technology seen here allowed thousands of battle-hardened Vikings to sail directly up the River Ouse, penetrating deep into English territory and seizing the city of York. King Harold responded with a grueling 200-mile forced march from London to Yorkshire in just 4 agonizing days. On September 25th, the English army caught the Vikings off guard at Stamford Bridge. Many of the Norsemen had left their armor on their ships. The resulting slaughter was so complete that only 24 of the original 300 ships carried the survivors home. This victory ended the Viking Age in England, but it left the English army battered and exhausted at the exact moment the winds shifted in the English Channel, allowing William to set sail. 3 days after Stamford Bridge, William landed his invasion force at Pevensey. Harold had to turn his army around and march the entire length of the country once again to meet the second threat. This comparative table shows the mismatch in military doctrines on October 14th. Harold's traditional infantry relied on a tightly packed shield wall atop Senlac Hill. William brought a combined arms force of archers, infantry, and armored cavalry. For hours, William's elite Norman cavalry charged uphill, only to crash headlong into the timber of the English line. The horses were bitten and the men hacked down by Danish axes, but the wall held. As the day dragged on, the Normans used a feigned retreat, pretending to flee in panic. Desperate for victory, elements of the Saxon line broke formation to chase them downhill. Once exposed, the Norman cavalry wheeled around and encircled them. Stripped of their defensive wall, the English lines dissolved into a chaotic brawl. By dusk, King Harold was dead, his personal guard was decimated, and the remaining Anglo-Saxon forces scattered into the surrounding woods. William weaponized human exhaustion, using a psychological ruse to shatter the rigid discipline of Harold's defense. Harold's death did not end the resistance. William spent years crushing regional rebellions with scorched earth tactics. By the end of his pacification, the Anglo-Saxon landowning elite had been almost entirely replaced by Norman barons. To maintain control, William initiated a massive building program. The stone fortifications seen here are remnants of the motte and bailey castles the Normans erected across the country, structures designed specifically for military intimidation. William's most effective weapon was the ledger. This handwritten page is part of the Domesday Book of 1086, a systematic survey of every piece of land, livestock, and revenue in England. It gave the central government absolute oversight of its newly conquered wealth. Massive property confiscation, intimidating stone fortifications, and the grip of bureaucratic ledgers turned a military victory into a permanent social hierarchy. The occupation forced a cultural fusion. The English language absorbed thousands of French terms, while the physical landscape was rewritten by the Romanesque stone columns and vaulted ceilings introduced by Norman bishops. This integration bound the island to continental Europe. The resulting legal and cultural hybridity created the modern English state, a pluralistic identity that continues to influence contemporary debates over national sovereignty and European integration. The foundations of modern Britain were forged through foreign subjugation and the bitter fallout of two former comrades. The last Anglo-Saxon king fell to a former ally, replacing an ancient political system with a foreign feudal order, remaining embedded in the landscape today.